Hi guys, I'm your mom. Tonight, I'm going to teach you how to make biscuits and gravy. This recipe only has like, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients. And the 6 ingredients you can use to make biscuits, white gravy, and I'm going to teach you how to fry an egg. Okay? So first things first, we're going to start with our biscuits because they take the longest. I have cookie sheet. I like to use a piece of aluminum foil on top. Lay that down. That's what we're going to put our biscuits on. I like to hit it with a hit of non-stick cooking spray so that way they don't stick. And we're going to get them in the oven because the biscuits are going to cook 12 to 15 minutes on 425. So if you want to go ahead and get your oven preheating, go ahead and get it started, put it on 425 so it's warm enough by the time we're ready to throw the biscuits in, and then we can focus on gravy. Okay, so this right here, we have our little sheet, and what we want to do is we want to cut the butter up. And what that is I like to use a grater like this, or you can chop it up if you wanted to do it by hand, and you just cut it up in little pieces. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the grater. And what you want is you want your butter as cold as you can get it, because the colder your butter, the better. This recipe right here, I am going to make a whole batch for my family. But if you wanted to cut it in half, it makes about 4 biscuits, okay? So we're going to use 1 stick of butter, which is about a half a cup. And that right there, we're just going to grate it up on our plate. And then we're going to throw it in the bowl too. And we're going to fold it in with the flour. So you want to get 1 stick of butter, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and about 3/4 cup of milk. Okay, so now we got our chunky butter. I like very buttery biscuits, and it makes them fluff up and really yummy and tasty. So we got it grated on our cheese grater. We're going to throw that in the sink. Throw our butter trash away. And we got our grated butter here. We're going to go ahead and transfer it over into our dish. And this is just our mixing bowl. We're going to mix up the flour and all the other ingredients with it, okay? So we're going to move that over here. And I'm going to grab a spoon to mix it all up with. We're going to go ahead and grab our flour. We're going to do 2 cups of flour in this one. Remember, like I said, if you're doing a half recipe for just 1 or 2 people, or if you don't have as many ingredients, feel free to go ahead and make 1 cup of flour, half a stick of butter, and then it's going to be half a teaspoon of salt, half a tablespoon of sugar, half a tablespoon baking powder, and then like 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup of milk. Okay, that's your half recipe. With all these, you can pretty much cut them in half and substitute them as you need. Make sure you use ChatGPT and Google as your friend. If you don't have any certain ingredients, you can definitely make this with something other than butter if you don't want to use butter. I use almond milk because we got a lactose intolerant in the house, so I use almond milk instead of regular milk. So I got my butter and my flour in here, and I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up and get that butter nice and coated. Now, the colder the butter, the better. So I normally like to put my butter in the freezer and keep a stick in there. That way, if I'm ever craving, so it should be kind of crumbly like this. And then we're going to go right over here. We're going to go ahead and hit it with our baking powder mess. We're going to go ahead and hit it with a tablespoon of baking powder. This is what makes it nice and fluffy. Now, whenever you do tablespoons, you want to make sure you scrape them so they're level, okay? And normally these containers, my spoon is really big, but you want to make sure you like level it off because you don't want too much, and sometimes that mound will be like a whole extra serving. So you want to like flatten it off the top, okay? So 1 tablespoon baking powder, and making biscuits and gravy is a huge mess, so don't forget it. Salt, it's going to be a teaspoon of salt. I like to freehand it because I cook a lot, okay, because I know how much it is. And then I want to go with a tablespoon of just plain white sugar. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of salt. That's going to be where it's at. I'm going to go in here, like I said, leveled off tablespoon. Now with this, if you want to add extra seasoning, sometimes I like my biscuits savory, especially if I don't have a lot of ingredients for gravy. I'll throw a little bit of garlic powder, Italian seasoning, a little bit of extra savory in there. Or you can even make them sweet if you want to. They're just biscuits. It's just bread, okay? We want to go ahead and mix all of our dry ingredients in there with our butter and make sure it's thoroughly combined so that way you don't have any weird chunks of sugar or salt or baking powder and it gets thoroughly mixed. Now what we're going to do So we want to go ahead and grab our milk. We're going to use the same measuring cup here. Here we go. Almond milk, you got to shake it. Go ahead, and it's 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to use the 1 cup and fill it 3/4 of the way. So that way I don't have extra dishes. Okay? If you want to use specific measuring cups for each thing, that's okay too. If you want to just eyeball it and wing it, that's also okay. Biscuits are pretty forgiving. Okay? So we're going to go ahead, mix it in. You see exactly what it looks like. It starts turning into a sticky dough. Like I said, cold is good. So if you want to throw it in the fridge after you mix it up, you can. But I'm going to go ahead and start forming my biscuits for you guys so we can go ahead and get them in the oven and get working on some gravy. Okay? Because I want to make this video quick, simple, to the point. We got our dough there. See how it's getting all sticky? Now, whenever you make things like biscuits and whenever you roll something out to make a shape, you want to go ahead and put a little bit of flour on the counter so it doesn't stick. And so let's go ahead and boom. And we're going to spread that out a little bit. And the way I like to do it is, make sure your hands are clean for this. Go ahead, set that aside. Oh, hi, kitty. The kitties, they are here. They are around, okay? You might not see them right in the middle of this cooking video, but the kitties are here, okay? I was told that the kitties are, a star of this show. So, all right, let's move this baby out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing. Now, you see how it's getting sticky on my hands? I'm going to go ahead, open up my flour. Go ahead and grab another little dribble. Dust my hands with it because that'll make it to where it's not as sticky. I like to fold my biscuits a couple of times. That adds a little fluff and layering to them. So we're going to go here. Just fold it over a couple of times. Fold it over a couple of times. I had to hide the marshmallows from the kitty. All right. If you live with animals, it's always some chaos. Hit it with a little more flour. That layers it up. Now, with this one, you also don't have to do this a lot. I like to fold it a little bit. Gets that butter all incorporated in there. Okay, now we're going to roll it out. Make it about 1 inch thick. That looks pretty good. And let's see. I like to roll it off my hands. Pack it up in here. I like to just get a cup so that way I can shape my biscuits. I'm going to hide the marshmallows by me now because Minoko's stealing them. I like to go ahead and just grab a little glass. I dip it in my flour. And inside this, because if you catch the edge, that's where you folded it. There's our first homemade biscuit, you guys. Go ahead. If you catch the edge, that's where it's folded and it won't fluff up as much. So we're going to go ahead and stick it in here. Look at those homemade biscuits. Boom. Put them right next to each other. Now we have this shape. We're going to go here. Hit it with a little more flour. We can get one more out of her. Look at how beautiful. Okay. Go here. Now, this excess, we just fold it back. Hit it with a little bit of flour. Fold her out. Spread it out again. And our oven is ready. And you just keep cutting circles. Okay. And we just keep stacking them up. Just like this. Just stacking them up on our thing. Now, what I like to do when I get closer to the end, to this little section here, I got a weird shape. I like to cut mine up, and I like to do what I call making flowers. Okay? Take a little chunk, wrap it around another little chunk and pinch, wrap another little chunk around and pinch, wrap another chunk around and pinch those edges in. We're going to stretch this guy out and pinch. Now we got, I call it a rose, a flower, a little leftover chunk. I'm going to put this baby right here at the edge. Okay? There's our biscuits. I like mine super thick, and these are going to rise up a little bit. So you can always add stuff to the top to make it all golden brown. I like leaving mine because we're going to cover them in gravy. Okay? Biscuits in the oven, 425, 12 to 15 minutes. Okay? Biscuits are done. Let's move to the next. Next, we're going to work on gravy. Start with our butter again, all right? We're going to go ahead. We're going to put it on a medium heat. We're going to start there. I'm going to start out with just a small batch. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of butter. Now on the butter, I'm going to show you right here on the side, there's measurements. Okay. So if you wanted to grab a knife, we're going to literally cut the butter 2 tablespoons. Drop that right in the pan, start getting that baby melted. Okay. Boom. Get that out of the way. Grab a drink of beer. Let that baby melt down. Now what we want to get for this recipe is a whisk. The whisk is this contraption right here. What that allows is you to mix liquids and like flour to where it's not all clumpy. This allows the stuff to mix all up really nice. Okay. Now, if you don't have some of these ingredients, feel free to look up alternatives. With this recipe right here, butter, flour, seasonings. So 2 tablespoons of butter, let it melt. 2 tablespoons of flour, add your seasonings. Salt and pepper is country gravy, okay? Black pepper country gravy is just salt and pepper. I like to add a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder to mine, any extra seasonings I have around just to give it that extra flavor. And then you're going to do that. You're going to cook the flour down with the butter, and then you're going to add your liquid. I'm going to add more almond milk to make it a little bit of a creamy gravy, but you can also add water, stock, anything like that to make your gravy, okay? So I have my trusty almond milk. All right, we're going to let this butter cook down and just keep it on warm because we don't want to burn the butter. That's how you get burnt brown butter. We're just going to melt it down. Keep chunking it up and be careful with your pans, especially if they're non-stick. Let's see. Hi, Mamacita. All right, we got our butter melted down. Now we're going to go in here, 2 tablespoons of flour, like I said. Flat, okay? Now I like to go ahead, like I said, garlic powder. We're almost out there, so I'm going to dump that. Fresh garlic powder. Gotta have garlic. I love garlic and everything. Okay, we're going to throw some extra garlic powder in there because I like mine really flavorful. And we're going to hit it with the salt and the pepper. I like doing fresh cracked pepper, especially for something like gravy, if you have access to fresh cracked pepper. I like bigger chunks, so I would shake it out a little bit. Go here. Go back with our salt from our first recipe. Hit it with some salt. And now we're going to whisk, because remember I said that butter and that flour mixing together, we use the whisk so we can get it creamed together so it's not all chunky. See how that looks? Very little amount. It looks like you have almost nothing in the pan. But we're going to cook this flour for just a couple of minutes. Simmer it and cook it down. And let it cook up a little bit, okay? And then with this, start cleaning up our space a little bit. I like to clean a little bit as we go. And put that salt away. And the baking powder. And you are with me in my real kitchen. You're welcome. You want to keep stirring this up though so it doesn't burn. Same concept with the butter. You don't want to let it burn. We got it on a medium to low heat. Okay. Just cook it down. Be gentle. Medium heat. Let it cook for a few minutes. And we're making gravy, baby. Look at this. Now all you need, 1 cup of liquid, okay? We're going to grab our measuring cup, use that same measuring cup from everything we've done before, and if you caught that, you saw a splash of milk hit the wall. All right, we're going to go 1 cup of milk, boom. Now, the great thing about gravy is it's forgiving. Flour makes it thicker, liquid makes it thinner. If it's too thin, cook it slowly for a little bit longer. If it's too thick, add a little more liquid. And here, we're just going to stir it up, let it warm up. That flour mixing in with that liquid is going to start thickening this baby up. And we're going to have gravy. Okay. Now you want to keep stirring it up because it is milk and we don't want it to create a film and stick to the pan. Already thickening up a little bit. So we just want to keep mixing it up. My hands are extremely dirty, but I want to taste it. Yeah. Now, if you want to add your milk slowly, if you want a certain thickness, but this will continue to thicken with the heat. So it feels thin at the beginning, and it's going to. That's okay. Okay, we're going to throw that baby over here. Let it continue to cook. I'm going to put that on low heat. What we're going to do is we're going to transition over to here. I'm going to show you guys how to do an over easy steamed egg. Okay? I'm going to grab my lid because having the lid is the key to having steam. Okay? So with this, oh, baby. Oh, that gravy's looking so good. So good. Okay. I'm going to turn that gravy off and I'm just going to let it rest. But I am going to put the lid so that heat finishes thickening it up. Now in this guy here, we're going to go ahead and, all right, let's hit it. Hit it with a little bit of oil so the egg doesn't stick. Low to medium heat, okay? We want a runny yolk, okay? I'm going to kick that baby in there. We're going to grab our spatula. So we want to be able to move this baby around. And what we're going to do, we're going to start out by letting it cook 45 to 60 seconds. Okay, that's going to allow that egg to start cooking in there because we want a runny yolk, but we don't want the eggs to be white and runny. We want to have runny yolk. So we're going to do this. We're going to let it cook up for just a minute. And then we are going to add a little bit of water. We're going to let it steam with the lid. So that's why I grabbed the lid out here. I'm going to grab a splash of water. Let it cook up for a few seconds. That gravy is nice and thick here. Perfect. It's just thickening up as it sets too, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. About 45 to 60 seconds. We're going to hit it with a little bit of water to let it steam up. We're going to throw that lid on there, okay? That's going to allow that egg to steam up and it's going to cook all the white part in there, okay? You see that lid already steaming up. Check these biscuits. Oh, those biscuits are looking good already. I want to show you them right at the end of the video because they're, all right? This is looking good. Whoop. Now, key is you want to keep the lid on. It's really hard because I want to check it and I want to look and I can't see through. But I can see that that runny white part is getting cooked up. So that's excellent. Gravy. Looking good. Now I can see it bubbling up just a little bit. All right, we're going to go ahead and check it. Now, this white is almost all the way cooked. So if you want to flip it, you can. If you don't want to flip it, this is an over easy. Over easy has a little bit of runny white, runny yellow. Okay, I like mine over medium. If I want to continue steaming this up, I can, and it'll allow that to steam, or we can flip it. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here. I'm going to wiggle that spatula very gently under that egg. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go flip, and we're going to flip it right over. Having a non-stick pan is really important, and having a spatula with a nice edge. You just barely jiggle it under there. We're going to give it a few more seconds to steam up. We're going to call that baby good. Boom. We'll say our egg is good. I'm going to show you guys the biscuits. They're so beautiful. All right, let's look. Not done, but look at those babies. Already getting thick. They do need a few more minutes. But, so tonight, guess what? We cooked biscuits and gravy. We did it. We made a very simple white gravy recipe, a very simple biscuit recipe. Now you know how to make homemade biscuits and gravy and a runny yolk egg at your house, all by yourself with simple ingredients. We use 6 simple ingredients: water, flour, butter, well, liquid flour, butter, seasonings. That's it. Keep those few staples at your house. You can make a meal anytime. I'm your mom. I'll be here next time. You want to learn something new? Come find me.